funny story before we begin here. I was looking into shooters to examine for this video, and originally I was going to do Splatoon 3, until one of my friends sent me a message saying that one Gundam hero shooter game that they showed off at the Game Awards, I think, was launching later that night, actually. And I figured, why not? It's a brand spanking new, it's free, and who doesn't like Gundam? I myself like Gundam a bit more than most. I've seen the OG, and I've sampled a smattering of all kinds of Gundam media. Besides, no matter how old you are, giant fighting mechas are just raw. Whoa. Gundam games don't typically have the best track record, but I'm pleased to say that, at least on day one, this game is a ton of fun, and I can see myself playing this in the long run. In my time playing, I found that my favorite map became the thermal plant map. But before I can explain why this map grabbed me so much, I need to go into the unique aspects of Gundam Evolution that make it stand out. Gundam Evolution is one of those hero shooters that are all the rage these days. The game has a decent selection of mobile suits to pilot, with each having a unique kit. Some are close range, others are all-rounded, some are support-oriented, the standard kind of stuff. There are a few mobile suits that you have to unlock with premium currency, an oddity in a hero-based shooter, but the class aspect is so incredibly de-emphasized, so at the moment it seems fine. Although I should note, at the time of writing, the game is so new that you can't even buy currency yet. As of writing, the currency shop goes up in about a day, so I can't speak for how those suits feel. Seeing as you control giant robots, each mobile suit is equipped with thrusters that let you do some cool stuff. You can jump, sure, but you can also hover in the air and even dash. The dash in particular is a lot of fun. With some practice, I found myself weaving in and out of the action to get kills. Gundam Evolution is an incredibly fast-paced game. When your suit is destroyed, it's a pretty quick jaunt back into the action, which I appreciate a lot. One unique thing about Gundam Evolution is that if you lose all your health, you're knocked down before you're officially down for the count, so team players can keep the action going if they play their cards right. Another thing I noticed was that pretty much every gun has a really small clip. I think the highest clip size I saw was 30, aside from gimmick and melee characters, which I think is a great way to add some sort of method to the madness that are the firefights in this game. This is where I felt the dash helped me out the most. I would find myself expending my clip, dashing to cover, getting my bearings again, and then heading back in. It walks this fine line between the fast-paced nature of a standard hero shooter and the slower, more methodical, every bullet counts approach of a shooter like Valorant or CSGO. So the movement feels sick, the selection of suits is great. Issue is, a lot of the maps range from just okay to baffling. There's this one map where the attackers come out of a straight line to the main choke point. It's literally just a straight line with no cover or anything. The map that stands out as the most thought out and fun is the thermal plant map. They show this one off the most in the trailers, so I get the feeling they were most proud of this one. Right off the bat, I think this is one of, if not the, nicest looking maps in the game. The general feel of it reminds me of the opening segment of Final Fantasy VII where you're storming the Mako reactor. There's a lot of the same imagery, which I think is really fitting in the Gundam universe. I love how you can look up and see the main sector of the thermal plant towering over you with a sea of stars behind it. It's a really cool backdrop. The only thing I think is a bit odd is the scale. I meant to be piloting these giant robots, but the map looks like it could be for any old shooter game. Other maps have the addition of little cars and buildings that make the maps feel like you're a massive metal behemoth, but I'm willing to suspend my disbelief a little bit here. The map itself is big too, like really big. The paths to each objective are so clear-cut on this map that I never got lost, thankfully. I didn't realize until writing this that the map supports 2 of the 3 game modes. I had only played Domination, but the map has spaces dedicated for both Domination and Destruction. The map could totally be fitted out for point capture if it isn't already, and I'd love to launch the game and check it out, but the game is under maintenance as I record this, and I'm under a bit of a time crunch here, so oops. Seeing as much of my time playing has been in the Domination game mode, I'll focus on how the map lays itself out for that. It's a simple but effective mode that suits the game's fast-paced nature perfectly. The first thing I notice about this map is that getting from spawn to the points is super fast. Even the slowest suits can get there in respectable time, which really helps keep the action flowing. Last time I checked, A was the first letter of the alphabet, so let's examine there first. And before we truly begin, I want to give a massive shout out to my friend Noah for helping me get footage of the map. Everyone, give it up for Noah. Woo! Point A is the largest point in terms of area, spanning the entirety of the ground in the room that it is held in. The room has a hallway on one side that leads to the other team's spawn side, and a set of doorways leading to the center of the map, which are a convenient way to get to the other points. There are 2 pillars in the center of the room, which make encounters interesting, seeing suits zip in front of them and back out. My favorite little touch is the large beam in the dead center. A skilled player can... Wait, A skilled player can make use of certain suits' unique abilities to make their way on top of the beam to rain down death from above. Only some suits with mobility in their kits can make use of this little spot, making certain suits have even more utility in this area, which adds a unique factor to consider for team composition. Point B is my favorite to play on, as fights often span both the top and bottom of the room, which forces players to remain vigilant at all times. Furthermore, the point can only be contested while you're on the lower level, adding an extra element of positioning and strategy as to who takes care of the suits on top and who stays to defend the point. The openness of the room this point is situated in makes it so that there's always some sort of action happening, but there's still plenty of room to take cover. The room is peppered with hallways and hideaways with health harrow dudes that can be used for strategic flanks or a place to get your bearings. Point B is all around great and lends to a lot of really kinetic action. Lastly, we have C, and in my opinion, the most interesting area. Point C is a small, vertical room with a grate in the middle that separates the lower and upper levels. The grate has a hole in it that allows suits to either drop down from above or come up from below if the suit has specific movement capabilities. This one little hole opens up so many opportunities to strategize. Barbados can drop down from above, maybe throw an incendiary grenade down. Eshimar and Sniper can bust in from below and ambush. The possibilities are endless. Compared to other points, C is a lot more cramped too, which makes fights a lot more tense, forcing you to disengage more often. Now, you may have noticed a common theme between all three segments of the stage: verticality. In a game with insane movement like this, I think verticality does wonders for creating fun and unique maps and capture points. I've noticed most of the other maps have some verticality, but none are as well thought out and interesting as it is on this map. Honestly, I can somewhat look past a lot of the iffy map design, because the core mechanics of this game are just so fun. But I hope the game takes some more inspiration from the Thermoplant map, as I always look forward to playing on it. No matter the case, the future of Gundam Evolution is looking bright.